Good morning, everybody. I pray all is well. So, today was a green day, and I reached my target or my milestone of 5 trades over $250, which means I am able to take a withdrawal from Top Step. So let's talk about the trade that I took. Um, Today was a really weird day in the market, all right? But I want to talk about the trade I took on my personal account this morning, and then I'm talking about the trade that I took in my Express account in Top Step. So let's go back to 7 o'clock this morning, okay? So 7 this morning, the market moved pretty well this morning, okay? I had dropped my baby girl off to school, and I came back home, and I said, okay, let's see, what what the market's done. So I saw that the market had pushed up. It was in this uptrend. All right. You could see that the market was making higher highs and higher lows. And I'm thinking, okay, awesome. That's great. So when I got back home, I saw that price just kept pushing up, 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 up. And I'm gonna go to the 5 minute time frame as well. I found that the 5 minute time frame early in the morning is really good. I don't know if I will continue to use it in my opening session. I don't know. I don't think I will. I like just the 2 minute time frame to just flow and vibe with that time frame. The less I see on in the open, the better. So anyway, so I saw that the market had kept pushing up, right? And so I said, okay, I want to be a buyer. So you can see here that price had like this inside bar. It pushed up, then it pushed down. And I ended up entering in this area here. And I was targeting these highs here. And that was before I got sleepy. So I entered the trade. And the trade looked like this at first before I moved my target. So this is the trade here. Okay, pushing back up to the upside. Now, when I'm trading my account in the morning, I'm not using NQ. I'm using MNQ. I'm using micros instead of minis. So the difference is between, like I explained in my yesterday's video, when you're using mini contracts on Nasdaq, every point is worth $20. When you're using micros, it's 10% of that. So every contract is worth $2. So right now I have a small personal account and on with TraderVate, so I'm only using micros in that one, okay? And so my trade looked like this, okay? I exited a little bit early. So I caught about 31, 32 points on that one. That wasn't a bad trade. When the market started to go up, I was able to move my stops for about 9 points. And yeah, so that wasn't a bad trade. And I don't trade on Top Step with my personal account. I trade on TraderVate, as I just mentioned. But it may come a time when I do get another combine and I just trade that combine in the morning with Top Step. But if my personal account just works out, I'll just keep it on my personal account. So let's fast forward to this morning. This morning, all rules followed except one. Okay, there were no mistakes made. It's just that there's a lot of volume in the market and my stop loss was not favorable, and so I didn't enter the trade. And I did not drop down to the to the micros. NQ, M and Q could have, but I was like, no, I don't want to do that, but probably should have. I just don't want to switch in between and getting into the habit of moving in between minis and micros, minis and micros, minis and micros. I think that will mess me up if I do that, like I did that the other day. And I think I just need to just, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Basically, is what I'm gonna say. Okay. So anyway, let's get into it. So this morning, when I got to the charts, I got to the charts around like 9:20 after I made some coffee. So the market was pushing down. You could see like after 8, the market, the last high was here at $21,680. The last low was here at 21,647, and the market made a low, a high, a low, a high, and lows. But then the market pushed up and it passed this extreme high here, like the highest point it had been at $21,680, right? I'm going to erase all of this. I put it back up. So I'm like, okay, cool. So when it did that, when it passed it, one of two things can happen. Price can either continue to go up or price is going to drop. One of those things can happen, okay? But being a trend trader, let's get this chart clean. I don't like cluttered charts. being a trend trader, it's like you gotta stick to your roots of trend trading, right? And what I mean is, if you're gonna trade with the trend, trade with the trend. If you're a breakout trader, be a breakout trader, right? If you're a break and retest trader, be a break and retest trader. If you're a counter trend trader, be a counter trend trader, right? It's all about the knowledge you have based and reacting to what the market is doing when it's in your favor, okay? But the risk part also has to be there too. When you're trading futures and you're trading minis, you can't control your risk as much as you think you can. Because if a contract is worth 20 points and you're following your system says, hey, you're going to risk 40 to 50 points. And I'm going to show you guys this morning. There's nothing you can really do to control that risk unless you drop down to micro NQ, and then you're able to adjust how many contracts you have. Then that gets you close to what your risk size is, okay? So, for example, the market made this new high. I stood on my hands because I did not like these two candlesticks. There's nothing I can do with those candlesticks, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to sit on my hands. So then price came back and it made a new low. So at this time, I'm thinking, okay, price made a new low. Let's see if the market can continue to come back up and I'll get into a sell. So this is how my chart looked, okay? Now, let's talk about the risk side of this. This is typically how my trade would look, because I want price to stay below this high at $21,697, okay? So now my risk, and I'm going to put it 3 points above the high just to give it some room, is at 53.50, okay? This means that I would have been risking $1,060 when my risk limit is $2,000. I cannot risk that because I'm risking 50% over, and I took a loss yesterday. So that means that if I were to lose the trade, I'm at a negative of $1,700, of almost, over $1,700. And I only have $300 more to work with. As a trader, I cannot take this risk on, right? No matter how I would have traded it, it just still would have been too much risk, okay? So then what ended up happening was price dropped. So I'm thinking, okay, if price makes a new low, that might be better. But then you can see that price went back up. Still, I don't feel comfortable adjusting this risk. I want to keep it the same because price can still push up above this inverted hammer, which would have been my entry, right? Because actually the risk would have been more because I wait for that candle to close. It would have been more. So now it's 1,400. If I lose the trade, my express count is done. So I don't take the setup, but I still believe that the market can continue lower. So what I did was, and this is not favorable, I don't like this trade, but at least it was profitable and it helped me pass my my milestone. When the market pushed up again, like we got this inside bar in between the range, and I hate trading in the range. This is one of the most dangerous things for me with with the way I trade, but I did it anyway. So price started to go down. I entered the trade and I was able to come out the trade with $347.20 because I still believed in the trade. It just wasn't favorable, right? In hindsight, when we trade now, and this is the coulda, woulda, shoulda part. I made a post about this on Threads about coulda, woulda, shouldas, okay? When you're trading coulda, woulda, shouldas, you should trade your coulda, woulda, shouldas, right? When you say, I could have done this, I should have done that, right? I would have done this if, you should write that stuff down, especially if you know it's an ongoing conversation. I could have entered when this candlestick closed and not cared about the risk, although it fit all of my rules except for the risk rule. I would have entered the trade if price came up a little bit higher. I was hoping it would come up a little bit higher, and I almost got there. Then my risk to reward could be even more favorable. I would have entered the trade because it still follows my technical analysis rule. I should have entered, but if I did, I got to think about my mental. My mental would not have been the best, especially after this candlestick right here. My mental just would not have been the best because I know that I was still risking too much on the trade. Am I okay with how much I made today? Of course, you have to be content when you're in profit. Could that have been more? Of course, it could be my first 2,000, actually over $1,500 day, almost $2,000. But this is where I have to remember tomorrow is Friday. I can still come back to the charts and trade tomorrow, right? But the thing is, now here's the upside. passing the milestone to say, hey, but you just passed a milestone. So let's be happy there, because now you can go, you're in payout. You can go and get a payout, and the majority of traders don't ever reach that with prop firms. So now you're in that top however many percent who can get a payout. So what you're doing works. Okay, but let's go to my stats really quick so you guys can see. So I'm up $1,476. I can take a payout of 50% of that. So I can withdraw like $730 something of that. And then it will lower my risk limit to 1,300, and I have to just trade back up to get that higher, which I can. I may take a little bit off. Okay. My trade wins, or my win to loss, is 50%. It would have been higher or less yesterday, but yesterday is gone. You guys can still see my average to win loss. My best day percent of trade profit is 42%. My profit factor is 2.24%, which means I'm keeping my wins higher than my losses, and that's really important. Today it's just 100% day because I only took one trade. You guys can see my stats here, right? The daily account balance, and this equity curve is going up, which is what you want to see. Sometimes it will dip. It will dip. All right. But at least the equity curve is going up. My highest rate on this account has been $1,753. So this is just the AI saying good job, right? Great job on maintaining a solid profit factor. So it's showing me like my most profitable trade, and my least profitable trade, and it's showing my best trade total. So this is good. This is like the most I've made on one trade on this account, and I've only been trading this account for now a week. Today has marked a week that I've been trading this account. Now, here's what matters. If I take a payout, and I told myself, if I take a payout, I'm going to open up another combine. I'm going to use that money from the payout to open up another combine. And now these totals will double if I have a good profitable day. But here's the downside of that, and I'm going to talk about this downside because we have to talk about it. That brings me back. Not only am I in express territory, I'm in combine territory, which means I'm in demo territory. Here's why that's dangerous. Mindset. When it comes to your mindset, we have to remember these are all demo accounts. Even though, yes, I can now withdraw out of one of those demo accounts because that's just the rules. I beat the challenge, and now I have to, stay profitable to keep withdrawing. Okay. But now that I'm going to be in demo account land, my mind's going to say, oh, but you still have this challenge. So now the goal is to beat the challenge again, while still maintaining my personal account. That is not the easiest thing, because this is where traders can mess up. I have messed up doing this. I messed up in my last challenge doing this. I passed an account in September, and then I had a horrible October. I could not bounce back from that, and I lost that funded account. Because then after that, I opened another combine while I had that express. So now the goal is, if we do that, I have to keep the express account in my mind and understand whatever you do in this express account is going to mimic into your combine account. Just keep doing what you're doing and keep flowing how you're flowing. Okay. Now I have another milestone goal. It's a personal goal of mine. I got to hold my trades. I want to beat this amount. Right? Is it necessary? No, because even if I get like these days, where some days I'm making 600, 300, 5, like these are still amazing days that would now double. So I have to remember that I don't have to use so many contracts because this is going to double. Okay. And this, let this be motivation for you if you're new or if you're struggling, like, hey, these days are possible, but here's what can happen if you stay in the right mindset. These amounts can double when you add them to your combines. When you then get them to express. My goal is to get into XFAs here on Top Step, and then still be able to trade my own funds, which is why I have that personal account that I'm growing and trading MNQ only. And I'm trading that one at a different time. And here's another reason why, because for me, it's hard to click one chart and then change it to the trading view and try to click that, because sometimes, especially with volatility and volume, these prices could just move. And I don't want to be off one or 2 points. That does affect the P&L. If I'm off 1 to 2 points, or if price moves and I'm off 10 points, that affects my risk. And I'm all about risk management. So And that goes into today, where because I had this huge loss yesterday, I did not feel comfortable taking this loss. Market's moving down so beautifully from this new high area. That's beautiful. I said the market's moving down and it came back. It may continue to go down. Or if they consider this a trend, it may go back up, tapping this. But anyway, that's beautiful going back down. But yeah, so this is just something that I want to come and talk about, and I want to share. I'll probably do another month or two where I'm sharing my trade stats. Maybe I'll do a few weeks where I'm share my trade stats. And I'm going to start sharing more educational content, because looking at other people's trade stats are cool, but the goal, especially for YouTube and how I teach, is to teach. Not how I trade mine so you guys can trade yours, but how you can see and view the market, how you should see and view the market if you can understand the language, and how you should understand the language. Okay. But anyway, you guys, man, that's a beautiful drop. I pray you guys have a good day, and I will talk to y'all in the next video. Y'all be blessed.